Hi, my name is Constance Ejuma, and this is my FCE profile. I think I was more interested in storytelling, and I think that really started when I was a really young child, and I was exposed to Bollywood movies. I remember spending one summer holiday with some relatives when I was still in Cameroon. I was in Kumba, and every day everyone had chores to do around the house, and I think by mid-afternoon, the younger kids would be put in front of the TV and there would be a Bollywood movie playing. And as you know, Bollywood movies are, 10 hours long sometimes. And in those days, there weren't any subtitles. So we really didn't understand what the people were saying, what was going on. But we always understood the story. And I think from that early stage, I really began to understand the power of story and the power of communication and how story can really move you and touch your heart. It's an international language. So it really started from there. It wasn't until I became a teenager that it occurred to me that I could become an actor and I could tell stories through acting. And I don't remember the specific moment I had that light bulb light up in my mind. I do know that I was about 16, and I may have been watching a movie that really just triggered something, but from that moment forward, I have been in pursuit of this art and sharing stories with people. I got small parts in TV shows. So for instance, my first guest spot on the TV show was a show called Monk, which was a really nice opportunity for me. I had a recurring role on a television show called Proof, which was a few years ago as well. I've also done an episode of Scorpion. I've worked on a couple of web series with friends of mine, so I did Consequences, as you mentioned. I've also done another web series called Growing Up Immigrant. That's about a Ghanaian American young man who is trying to, navigate surviving in America while being true to his African roots and heritage. I've also done another short film called The Zim, which was about the land seizures that are happening in Zimbabwe. As far as films go, I produced and starred in a film called Ben and Ara, which did very well on the film festival circuit. We also got distribution for it, and it's now available on several distribution outlets, including Amazon Prime, so anybody can get access to that if they want to see it. I also had a great opportunity to participate in Black Panther, which was really exciting. I got to work as a stunt performer, something I had never done before, so it was thrilling to have that new skill to learn, but to also be a part of kind of a historical, very significant event. Everybody loved Black Panther, and I was very proud to be a part of that story. One of the things that I find challenging about being an actor in general is the fact that you spend so much of your time going into these rooms to audition for projects and to audition for films or television shows or stories that you didn't write, you didn't come up with. And sometimes they don't really resonate with you. And while it's great to have the opportunity to go and help other people tell their stories, sometimes you just sit down and you think, gosh, I have so many things I want to say, and there's so many interesting stories out there that I don't get an opportunity to go in and tell. So how about I come up with my own? Or how about I partner with friends or colleagues who have great scripts and produce something? So that didn't really occurred to me until a few years ago. And when that started to happen, when it started to look to me as if I really wanted to get things done, and if I really wanted to tell certain types of stories, I would have to produce them myself. I would have to come up with the content and figure out a way to get it done and get it out to the masses. So the first project I produced was Ben and Ara. Now, when I started working on that project, I didn't have any experience as a producer, so I didn't really know what to expect and how much work it would take to actually get this thing done. I mean, it's a commitment that sometimes it requires years of your time. You know, that was the first lesson. The other lesson was that if you are starring in something and also producing it, that comes with its own sets of challenges, and you have to use different parts of your brain to get things done. So for instance, we were on set one day, and myself and my producing partner, we were both starring in this film. But as producers, we also have to keep track of the budget. We have to keep track of the time. We have to keep track of, when does everybody get paid, and how long will it take us to shoot the scene, and how much time do we have until the day ends, and are we going to get all our shots this day? And so we would find ourselves, the camera starts to roll, we're in front of the camera and we're acting, and then the director calls cut, and then we're looking at our time going, okay, do we have enough time to do this next one? So it was a challenge, but it was a great challenge because it forces you to be disciplined. It forces you to learn to identify the things that you don't need, and immediately you start to learn how to cut the fat, how to trim things. You don't have the luxury of taking 20 takes on this one particular scene because you have 5 other scenes you need to do this day. So it was really a really, really wonderful thing to do. Everybody's perspective is relevant. Everybody's story is relevant. I don't think that as an individual, my perspective would appeal to every single person. I think it's unrealistic to have that perspective, but I think there are enough people who would be interested enough in my perspective, or who can relate enough to my story and the stories that I have to share, that it makes my voice worthy of being heard. So, relevance, I think it's really quite subjective, but I think everybody deserves a chance to have their voices be heard. Two things. My first piece of advice is don't give up. There will be many obstacles, and there will be many, many, many people that you will meet along the way who will try and discourage you, or they'll say something or they'll do something that'll make you doubt yourself and really make you reconsider what it is that you're doing and why you're doing it. So don't allow that to happen to you. And the second thing is to trust yourself and trust your own voice, and trust that what you have to say and what you bring to the table is valuable. Because I think a lot of the time we're trying to fit into these boxes that don't necessarily reflect who we are as people, right? We all have something to offer. We're all unique in some way. And I think that's the thing that makes you stand out. And that's the thing that people want to latch onto and really connect with you on. So if you can, do your best to not get swayed by other people's desires or other people's ideals of what it means to be a good artist, a good actor, a good writer, a good storyteller. What is it that you want to say? What is the story that you want to tell? That is the thing that's going to get you far. The project I'm working on right now is a one-woman play called Ghost Town. And the reason that I decided to write it is because for the past couple of years, I, like every other Cameroonian in the world, has been paying attention to the Anglophone crisis that has been taking place in the southwest and northwest of Cameroon. You know, I've been following the news, reading articles, getting testimonies from people who are on the ground experiencing this firsthand. I have family members who have been directly affected by this. I have friends who have lost loved ones as a result of this crisis. And I just really couldn't wrap my head around what was going on, why it was happening, and why it was so difficult to come to a solution that was beneficial to all parties involved. So after reflecting for a really long time, I decided, well, you know, there isn't very much that I can do to solve this problem, but one thing that I do have to offer is my skills as a storyteller. So the play opens on June 8th. It's going to be part of the Hollywood Fringe Festival. And there are 5 performance dates. The first one is June 8th and the last one is June 30th. So I am really excited about it, and I'm looking forward to sharing this experience with whomever has the opportunity to come and witness the show. I'd like to say thank you to Fatal Cut Entertainment for the opportunity to speak a little bit more about myself and to share my story and my experiences as an actress.